接下去呢，我想，我们都知道，就是中国里面呢，现在有13.5亿，好，然后印度有12亿，好，那么美国有3.1亿，第4大的是印尼呢，有2.3亿，哈。那我们今天呢，请到了2位，哈，一位是从印度来的，一位是从印尼过来的，哈。那么从印度过来的这一位呢，他本身是这个 Mr. Sanjiv 哈，然后他本身呢，他是一个Fairfest 的一个媒体公司里面的董事长哈。那他今天要跟我们谈的是有关于这个印度呢，在这个潜在的这个观光的一个市场哈。Next, I would like to invite to discuss about the potential tourism market in India. Please, thank you. Thank you.
Well, India is a large country, as you know, and we are more than 1 billion people, and we can send a lot to Taiwan. So my presentation would focus on what Taiwan could do to promote tourism from India. This is an outline of my presentation. I would go into what are the different parts of outbound market in India, what are the different source market cities, and what are the most favorite destinations all around the world, what is the hotel budget, and what are the top emerging destinations, which countries are the most favorite for Indians, and what are the top attractions, the kind of attractions, and what are the strategies adopted by those who are very successful in India. And from my perspective, a SWOT analysis for Taiwan and my suggestion of tactics for promoting Taiwan in India. India outbound market, as far as leisure is concerned, it is 20 million plus in 2015, growing at the rate of about 10% per year. And it is likely to grow to 50 million by 2020, and it is going to be worth 28 billion as per UNWTO. So you see the graph there. It's a steady increase, and it's kind of taking off. Well, business and MICE, this is again a very big pie, a lot of conventions and meetings and incentives and events, weddings. So this is 26 billion in business travel spending in 2015. It is the 10th largest market in business travel and MICE, growing, growing about 11.5% every year, and in 2019 it is likely to be 45 billion, and by 2040 India would be the 5th largest business travel and MICE market in the world as per GBTA. And this being a large country, the market is quite diversified into different cities. So you have Mumbai, which is #1 market. It accounts Mumbai in South India is the largest outbound market, accounts for about 45%, followed by Delhi, the national capital, which is about 22%, and of course followed by Bangalore, Chennai in the South India, about 16%, and in the East India, Kolkata, about 3%. And these are the countries which are most favorite destinations for India, and as you see, Thailand has come up as #1 in the chart in a few years, maybe about 5 or 6 years. United States, of course, #2, UAE, United Arab Emirates, #3, and Indonesia #4, UK #5, Singapore #6, and China #7. We would like to see Taiwan here in the coming future. And this is very interesting. The most favorite gateway airports, UAE happens to be #1 airport. Most of us take our outbound flights even to different countries in the West via UAE. So I've explained why. It's very interesting. UAE, you see the rather large bar here, and followed by Singapore and Saudi Arabia, Thailand, Malaysia, Qatar, UK, Oman, Sri Lanka, and Hong Kong. Hong Kong is very important because you already have a good number of people touching Hong Kong, so that's an opportunity for you, I believe. And top countries, top continents, so the good news is that Asia is the top continent. followed by Europe and North America and Middle East, Africa, South Pacific, South America, and Central America. And this is very important for Indians, the favorite cuisines. So Indian, of course, we love our own food. Wherever we go, we are looking for our own food that is kind of peculiar for India, very unique, and something which a tourism promoter would do well to remember. But good news is it's followed by Chinese. This data is based on a survey done by TripAdvisor, so I must announce that, of course, Italian and continental American, etc. But Indian is number one. And of course, many Indians are very strictly vegetarian, and they're sort of very fussy and finicky, and sort of they don't like the thought of contamination, or even the thought of eating meat. It's only about 5 to 10%, but they are rich people, and they travel the most. So you're likely to find a lot of very strictly vegetarian people as far as inbound into Taiwan is concerned, and they also don't like mock meat, so they don't like the thought of eating meat, so even if you certify something vegetarian, but if it looks like meat, it's not good. It's not good for strictly vegetarian, some of the Indians. And well, hotel budget, it was touched upon in a slide earlier, mostly 4 to 5 stars. 3 to 5,000 rupees, Indian rupees. So that's quite we are good spenders even in shopping. And these are some of the top emerging destinations: Greece and Maldives, Seychelles and Mauritius, Bhutan, again Santorini in Greece, again Grand Gobe in Mauritius, Hungary and Russia, and again Mauritius. So a lot of places in Mauritius are top emerging destinations. And top attractions, the kind of attractions, we like cultural attractions the most, and outdoors, tours and activities. Shopping, of course, is very important, sites and landmarks. We like seeing the spots, we want, morning to evening, we want to cover the maximum number of spots possible, so that when we go back home, we can say that, okay, I covered everything, and within a short period of time, 2 to 3 days at best. Of course, adventure is not that high in the agenda, and so spa and wellness or amusement or zoos or aquarium not so high on the agenda. And it would be good to look at the strategies adopted by some established and new destinations. We are very successful. This is in my personal view, but it's based on data. What UAE did, which was very unique and smart, it virtually shifted India's air transport hub from India to UAE on the promise of competitive prices, ample connections, and good airports. So, let's say, not so much back in past, we didn't have very good international connections, and our airports were not as good, and they exploited that weakness in our state-owned aircrafts and airports to virtually shift the hub from India to UAE. And as I said, most of us take outbound, or many of us take outbound flights from UAE. And Turkey, again, somewhat similar strategy. It promoted heavily Turkish Airways as a good alternative gateway to Europe. And but there is a lot to see within Turkey, So these are two, in my view, contrasting examples where UAE is purely or mainly as a gateway destination and not a destination in itself. And Turkey, while it promoted itself as a gateway destination, but a destination in itself as well, And now they are doing more and more of that. Taiwan, in my view, this is not neither comprehensive nor very deeply researched, but as a bystander, I would say that your strength is, very strong image, thanks to HTC and Acer. I use an HTC One phone. So, very strong image due to Western style democracy and competitive source market of high-tech gadgets. Accommodation options suit every budget, availability of Indian and vegetarian cuisine, and free online visa and group visa. Now, In my view, weaknesses would be relatively new destination compared to hot favorites in Southeast Asia, lack of direct flights, and so the opportunities would be, it is still a growth market available for early entry and diversification, and a very, very fast growing MICE market, which could be targeted differentially. And of course, threats would be lack of top of mind awareness and recall, not being still on the wish list of Indian tourists, and aggressive competition with new destinations entering the Indian market. And of course, the old destinations were already very successful. And so, you know, if I were to suggest possible strategies for Taiwan, I would suggest that it would probably work best with within a package of Southeast Asia, you know, because again, you know, this may be somewhat peculiar or unique about Indian tourists, that they like to package many destinations, many countries in one trip, you know. So many tourists would be taking this kind of a Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand package, and now they might be substituting one of these, let's say Malaysia with Indonesia or Vietnam or what have you, you know. Now, so at least 3 countries or 2 countries in a trip, you know. And so probably this kind of packaging would make sense for typical Indian tourists more than standalone tour to Taiwan, you know. And since your air distance is not so long from Hong Kong, maybe Hong Kong, but also you know, Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, or Hong Kong, Thailand. Maybe or Hong Kong, Singapore, and Taiwan, and already some of the operators I know are doing it. You know. So this, in my view, and when you plan your flight connection to India, you know, if it's not so lucrative for you to start direct connections immediately, you could think of a hopping flight via Hong Kong. So it would still make sense, because we don't mind hopping flight in which I could break the journey in one way and also see Hong Kong. So direct flight is all right, but via Hong Kong looks like much more feasible. And another strategy which looks more difficult, maybe in my view, but then, you know, could it be packaged with other nearby countries like Korea, Japan, or Shanghai? So it would require more analysis and cooperation. And the other destination, of course, other strategy, of course, could be standalone, but it could be done mainly for business travel and MICE and groups, because it might be tougher for FITs initially, and it seems Taiwan is already doing it, which is undoubtedly a smart strategy. This is the picture of the Taiwan booth in our recently held business and luxury travel mart, and you see a lot of activity there. These are again more difficult, you know. It's a gateway destination leveraging airline connections to the, maybe say, US West Coast, you know. So they, it would require investing heavily in, you know, very competitive market of, you know, those who are long-haul Indians to travel via Taipei, you know. And of course, you know, this, some Indians who are traveling to West Coast in the US may travel via Taiwan, because this is an analysis of the time. Let's say, usually we would take Delhi, Los Angeles via Abu Dhabi, you know, this is or any other port in UAE. It will take 21 hours and it will cost about 40 to 45,000 rupees. And the same trip via Taipei would be probably as much lengthy or a little less, and around the same price, you know, but more difficult. This is already sort of preempted by UAE. And of course, at the tactical level, with the disclaimer that I am the organizer of these travel marts, I would argue that participating in travel trade show will be the most effective due to your face-to-face communication possibility there. And these are our major travel trade shows. OTM, Outbound Travel Mart. It is held in February every year in Mumbai. It is I would show a small video if the time permitting, yeah. And you know, this is BLTM where Korea was, where Taiwan was there. And TTF, it's a regional network of travel trade shows held in 10 cities year-round. That's also the one we organize. And SATE, which is held in late January or early February in Delhi. Well, this is the Taiwan booth in OTM 2015. And this is the Taiwan booth again in BLTM. And these are some of the bigger pavilion. Turkey, it's about, you know, there are about 50 or 60 co-exhibitors from Turkey every year since last more than a decade. So they started promoting in India and participating in OTM we saw that the list of private co-participants grew bigger and bigger. And likewise in UAE, it's about more than 50 co-participants, about 300 square meter, very large. They started participating last year as UAE. Earlier it was mainly the different principalities like Dubai, etc., doing their own things. And this is Thailand again with more than 50 co-participants. So that's what probably, this is the direction probably Taiwan promotion in India would also look like. And then can you play the video, 2 minutes video?
OTM is the leading travel trade show in India. It is held every year in Mumbai, the biggest outbound source market in the country. Over 1,000 exhibitors from 50 countries participated in OTM 2016. Over 10,000 qualified trade visitors registered attendance at the show. 500 of them hosted and VIP buyers from all major cities in India. In addition to online scheduling of appointments made available to every registered visitor, there was a buyer-seller speed networking session for making appointments on the spot. OTM 2016 created a specialized travel tech platform, Tech Forum at OTM, connecting technology solution providers with the travel industry. Sessions on promoting tourism through films, influencing consumer behavior using new media, travel startup competitions, and product presentations added interesting educational opportunities at the OTM. Destinations made colorful marketing and cultural presentations to give the visiting travel trade a flavor of their destinations. Many countries and Indian states had set up large custom-made pavilions. Leading destination marketers sponsored buyer lounges and registration areas at the show. Spread over more than 17,000 square meters, OTM is India's biggest travel trade show on the basis of number of sellers, participating countries, hosted buyers, and exhibit area occupied. OTM is focused on B2B travel trade and corporate visitors. OTM is brought to you by Fairfest Media, India's oldest and the leading travel trade show organizers since 1989, with over 50% market share. Fairfest also organizes TTF branded shows in 10 cities in India every year. We are also the publishers of Travel News Digest, a leading travel trade monthly magazine, Business Travel and Luxury Travel Mart, BLTM, in October 2016 at Hyatt Regency Gurgaon in the New Delhi National Capital Region is our latest offering. Come, participate in our leading travel shows and make your business in India grow.